Stomp him in the nuts. Stomp him in the nuts. I'ma stomp him in the nuts. 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 I'ma stomp him in the nuts.
Yo, what's good? Not every fighter is going to be a Hall of Famer. Not every fighter is going to be a millionaire pay-per-view superstar. But that does not make him, this fighter, a bum. It does not mean that he shouldn't be remembered and appreciated. Today I'll be talking about Orlando Salido. CD. He was 43 with 30 knockouts, 13 losses, and 3 draws. Salido began his career in 1996 at the age of 15. So he has been fighting for almost 20 years already. He started his first 24 fights. He had a record of 14, 8, and 2. So these fights were between the ages of 15 and 21. So most of his losses are in the first 24 fights of his career. A few notable opponents before he got his first title shot was a loss to William Albelyan, who would be a future world title challenger at featherweight. Rogelio Tur, who was a former champion at super featherweight, and he made 6 defenses of that belt. Alejandro Gonzalez, who beat him. He was a former champion too, and he fought the likes of Kevin Kelly. He beat Kevin Kelly, actually. Gonzalez did. He lost to Manuel Medina, and he split fights with Luisito Espinosa, who was a champion himself. He beat Steve Forbes and lost to Stevie Johnston. So he fought some formidable opponents, and he beat Orlando Salido. After his last loss against Alejandro Gonzalez, he won 9 straight fights. A few notable opponents in those 9 fights were Carlos Herrera, who Carlos Herrera had beaten Jesus Chavez in the early part of his career, then lost the rematch by knockout. He fought Chicanito Hernandez and Floyd Mayweather. He actually fought Floyd Mayweather too, got knocked out. So he was a good opponent as well. He beat him by majority decision, or Salido did. He knocked out Radford Beasley, who fought Joel Casamayor for the 130-pound title. He got knocked out. And Alfred Cody, who was a African fighter, who was a former champion at bantamweight, and he made 3 defenses. He fought Juan Manuel Marquez, and would later fight Victor Ortiz and Anthony Peterson. So all that was before he got his first title shot at featherweight, which was against Juan Manuel Marquez. And back in 2004 was probably Marquez's best time, where he really had nothing to prove yet. It was after his fight against Pacquiao, but he still hadn't developed that exciting style. So it was his best. Salido caught Marquez at his best time, right after the Pacquiao fight, where he was still a technical mastermind. He still is. He still has been in recent years, but he's more explosive now. He's more of that dinamita now. And Marquez, future Hall of Famer, didn't really do anything to him. He went 12 rounds, lost a wide majority decision, but he didn't drop Salido. And Salido gave a good effort. So no shame in losing to a future Hall of Famer like Juan Manuel Marquez. He then fought Hector Soto, who was a former world champion at featherweight, who had fought Naseem Hamed in his next fight and lost a decision. So he went 12 rounds with Naseem Hamed. He split fights with Luisito Espinosa too, who's a 2-time world champion. He lost to Agapito Sanchez, who would be a future world champion and would fight the likes of Pacquiao, Barrera, Marquez, and Freddie Norwood. He lost to Oscar Larios and Johnny Tapia. So very good opponent to have on your resume as well. Orlando Salido beat Rogers Mtagwa who fought the likes of Agapito Sanchez, Billy Dib, Juan Manuel Marquez, Gamboa, and Johnny Gonzalez. Mentagua was actually Juan Manuel Lopez's hardest test before he faced Orlando Salido, which I will discuss in a bit. So, hell of a fighter, another tough African fighter, who he knocked out, by the way. I got his second world title shot against Robert Guerrero. And I did say there was no shame in losing to a future Hall of Famer like Juan Manuel Marquez. There is shame in beating Robert Guerrero because he got caught for banned substances. BoxRec says that he got caught for using steroids. And that's a shame. His first title victory, it was ruled a no decision. But I feel like Salido has redeemed himself. Then he went on to fight Brennan Acosta, who knocked out by TKO in the 4th round. And Acosta had fought, or would later fight, Chris John in a for the featherweight championship, which he would lose, of course, because it's in Indonesia. And he fought a young Jorge Linares, who beat him by unanimous decision. In his 3rd and 4th title challenge, Salido would fight Cristobal Cruz, who beat him by split decision in his 45th fight. So his 3rd title shot, he still couldn't capture the title. His 2nd title shot he did, but he got taken away from him, so that doesn't count. At his 4th title shot against the man who just beat him by split decision, he defeated by unanimous decision, and he finally won the featherweight title after 14 years of being a pro and 48 fights in his professional career. He finally won a title against a very good opponent. Cristobal Cruz has faced Sahir Rahim, Steve Ulevano, beat Luisito Espinosa, and Jorge Solis as well. So, another good name. His very first defense of that title he had worked so hard to achieve was against none other than Yuriokis Gamboa, El Cyclone de Guantanamo. Man, you guys that were watching him then knew how scary and fast and powerful he was, man. But Salido went the distance with him, and he gave a hell of an effort. He actually dropped Gamboa. And Salido went the distance. And he lost a unanimous decision. It was a fair decision, but I think Salido has to be reprimanded for his reprimanded is the negative thing. I think he has to be praised for this effort for fighting a undefeated Cuban. A very good fight as well. Salido got dropped twice in the 12th round, and Gamboa hit him while he was down and got 2 points taken away from him, but that still couldn't help Salido win the decision. Great fight though. In his very next fight, he fought Juan Manuel Lopez in a fight that he was expected to lose, just like he did against Gamboa. That was the time where Bob Arum said, let's let these things marinate. And so this was supposed to be a measuring stick. Like, how were Gamboa and Lopez going to measure up? Gamboa beat Mtagua in the 2nd round, and Mtagua went the distance with Lopez. So now Gamboa went the distance with Salido. We'll see how Lopez could do it. Man, Salido went to Puerto Rico and defeated Juan Manuel Lopez. Not only did he do that once, but twice. Went to Puerto Rico to face an undefeated fighter, 30-0, 27 knockouts. He was on the pound for pound of the ring at the time. And knocked him out twice. That's one of his best wins of his career. if not the best. He went to face Mikey Garcia, who dropped him 4 times. 4 times dropped. But he was coming on strong. After, I always say, Salido will let you beat him in the first 5 or 6 rounds. 5 or 6 rounds, you're probably going to beat Salido if you're talented in those rounds. But after that, you better put your big boy pants on, man. You better buckle up because Hurricane Salido's coming on, man. And he did against Mikey, but he gave him a headbutt. I'll go ahead and say it was on purpose. He broke Mikey Garcia's nose, and Garcia didn't want to continue. That nose was nasty, though. But Mikey Garcia got stripped of the title because he didn't make weight when he knocked out Juan Manuel Lopez. So Salido's next fight was against another Orlando, this time Orlando Cruz, who had a lot of hype behind him, not because he was a good fighter, and I honestly don't think that he earned this title shot in the first place, but they wanted to build him up because he was the first openly gay boxer. They said he was the first openly gay fighter during his career. So they wanted to make a story out of Cruz. What does Salido do? Cruz didn't have the grit that Salido did. He didn't have the technique. He boxed pretty well, but I don't think he had the heart. He got dropped in the 7th, and he just leaned over, and he didn't want to get up. Another great win. Speaking of great wins, his very next fight against Vasyl Lomachenko. And say what you want about this fight. Yes, Orlando Salido came in at 128, and he came into this fight at 146. So I'm not excusing Salido's actions at all. But man, this was a hell of a fight. We're talking about Lomachenko, one of the greatest amateur boxers of all time. And Salido beat him in a very exciting fight, very close fight, also a very dirty fight. Lomachenko held throughout the fight, and Salido landed so many freaking low blows. But we praise fighters for this. We praise fighters for their veteran tactics, quote unquote. And Salido does that. He does what he could get away with. If the ref had taken points away from him, I'm sure he wouldn't have been throwing as much low blows. So he took a page out of Trinidad's book, out of Mayweather's book, out of B-Hop's book, and survived because of his veteran tactics. Man, this fight made Lomachenko grow as a professional fighter so freaking much, man. And I will always respect Vasyl Lomachenko for this fight and for taking it in his second pro fight, man. What a pride fighter that is, man. In his second pro fight, he wanted that championship. But that's not the end of his career. He has been in 3 Fight of the Year candidates since that fight, man. While his next fight, I'm sure a lot of people haven't seen this fight, is against Tersak Koki Jims. This fight was in Tijuana, man. I wish I would have gone to this fight, man. Koki Jims from Thailand. Man, there was 7 knockdowns in this fight. 7. Salido got dropped 3 times in the first 5 rounds. Koki Jims got dropped twice in the first 5 rounds. And it was just a fire fight, man. It shows Salido could get up no matter what. I mean, he showed that in the Mikey Garcia fight, but man, Salido, you see Salido, you're going to get a war. You're going to get a million punches thrown in a fight, and Salido's going to give it 100 every single time, and you could feel that he has given 100, that he gives it 100 every single fight. So those last 2 fights have been failing efforts to win the championship at 130 against Roman Gonzalez. The first fight, he went where? He went to a fighter's home country in Puerto Rico to fight him. And it was a good decision. He got dropped twice and finally got a point taken off for low blows in this fight. So there's your justice. But but he rematched him later that year in September 2015 in the Mayweather Berto undercard, which was the best thing of that card, the rematch. And he had to settle for a draw. I personally think he won 8 rounds. I thought he clearly won the fight, but they're setting up the rubber match. So there's still a lot more to expect from Orlando Salido, and we have to appreciate such a pure warrior like Salido is, man. He just wants to. I feel like he just wants to fight, and he just wants to win titles for his legacy. He's not the best fighter. He's not the best boxer. He's not the fastest. But I think he's the one with the most heart. When he's fighting, he's the one with has the most heart. And he might lose because of his lack of skill, but he's not going to lose because of his lack of stamina or lack of heart. That's a fact. So be careful when you're calling certain fighters a bum, and appreciate what they have done for the sport and what they do for the fans. Thanks everybody for watching, and tune in for my videos this month that I have a schedule. Check the link in the description. That's where I'll have the schedule for this month. And you guys have a great day. Peace.